Welcome to Cards of Insight, where we discuss all things tarot. And I'm Greg, and I live in London.
Anna here, joining you all the way from sunny Brazil.
Susan here. I'm here in Canada.
And Pavlina, greetings from London, UK.
And we are all tarot readers. Hello.
Hi.
We're back with the kings again. Now,
Yes.
this time it's King of Cups.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to ask a question. When the King of Cups sits, does he slouch, sits straight backed, sits cross-legged, or leaning forward?
All of the above, I would say.
Yeah, okay, why?
It depends on how he's feeling. If he's because he's all emotions. If he's too anxious, he will be straight backed. He will expect something to happen, or he's watching a movie or something. I don't think he would slouch if the movie is very intense. If he is worried about something, if something is not going right in his life, he would slouch. So I see his body really mimicking what's going on in his heart. He is very transparent. He's a very transparent sort of king. He doesn't really show much with words, but with his body, you just can see it, in his eyes and the way he, walks or the way his body is positioned. Well, that's how I see him.
Can I throw you a curveball? If he's the king, then I thought he would be in control of his emotions.
He should be.
No,
Okay. All right.
to
It should
me,
be.
okay, when you're talking cross-legged, you're talking to me Buddha. He's that kind of, I think that kind of energy, like he's very self-assured. And Buddha, like if you see all the statues of Buddha, and Buddha to me was a king, to me a good king, a good representative of King of Cups. He's very assured of himself. He's meditating, and he's cross-legged. And the same thing with leaning forward, like he's listening. If he's leaning forward, he's listening to what someone has to say, very intently.
Yeah.
And if he's sits straight back, well, that could be just to do his meditation. He could be doing that for. And also, I think just to be comfortable and whatever. But if he's slouching, it may be he could be at the beach and just taking it easy and totally within himself. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It could be he's slouching because he's just getting his groove on.
Mm-hmm.
He's very comfortable with who he is.
Yes. I think he's sitting the way as he can observe and listen other people because he wants to be caring. So he moves always for other people. So it doesn't matter how he sits.
So you can sort of mimic your emotions. So if you go there and you don't slash over close or whatever, people might come across as you're not understanding or something like that. Whereas the king is more shows more empathy and can feel your feelings better. So will be more. If you're telling a sad story, he'll go, "Oh no, that's unfortunate," and care more about his feelings than his image. So he'll be controlled more about. So he will show his feelings. If that's the way I understand the King of Cups, he will show. He's supposed to hide them because that's why I asked Anna, because he's the king.
Well, he shares the feelings of others.
He
That's
has
the
empathy.
thing. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
super empathetic, but his body cannot contain that much emotion, and it shows. There's so much that you can keep inside.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't cry, if he doesn't say he's sad, if he doesn't show people, he just shares emotions with others, his body will eventually, show it somehow, I think. He's not the one to go out and say, "Oh, I feel so bad about such and such," or I'm anxious. No, he doesn't. I don't think he likes to talk about his emotions. He likes to hide them.
Which I think would be difficult for an emotional person, a cups person. I think it would be hard to to cover your emotions up, and you can't really, can you?
Well, he's emotionally mature.
Yeah.
That's how I see that's how I see him. Like I think he's had like maybe much younger but he's a wise man. To me, he's King of Cups is a very, he's a very unlike Wands who doesn't have any kind of empathy as we talked about earlier. This man understands empathy. He understands all those Buddha things of love and giving and courage and all this. He understands those things explicitly on a very mature level. So he doesn't, even in his appearance, he doesn't have to look wealthy or anything. He just carries that off as being somebody very wise within and anything he says, and it's very clear when you talk to him, he's listening to you, he's looking you in your eyes, and his whole posture is indicating his body is so into you, and you are the most important thing to him. And I think that's what his body reflects.
And he would show that physically, right?
Yeah.
Like he
Mm.
would give you a hug, and you would feel it's a real hug, you know?
Yeah. He's a real good father. That's a father figure. Yeah.
He would turn up at his son's science fair.
Yeah, he would come in.
Oh,
Yes.
he would. And he would be friends with all the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And
He'd be
and
the
he would go,
favorite
oh
dad.
yeah, oh my God, and he would go over
Yeah.
each project and say, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Have you seen his project too? And yeah.
So nice.
Really, all the mothers love him in the neighborhood.
Yes, yes, because he's very it's like mothers would be, oh, can you pick my son as well as you go? So you would have a full car of the kids as well.
They're probably all in love with him,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Now my
Yeah.
question is, we're talking a married man or mature man or man, about 30s or something. What about a King of Cups with the energy of the King of Cups? Let's say a teenager. Would the response of females be the same, or would he be seen as that overly sappy, romantic?
Well, he could be that gay guy who's in friends with all the girls.
Uh-huh.
That's how I could see a younger King of Cups. But I think at the same time, he's just one of those guys that all the girls, whether doesn't matter if he's what role he is in high school, for example, they know he's the guy that he's going to dance with you.
Yeah,
He's
they,
going
they, they
to,
confide in him. I
they
know, but
confide in him.
would he be good dating material?
You
This is
see,
my
I
question.
think he wouldn't. If the King of Cups would represent teenager, that means the teenagers is emotionally overloaded, right? There's something
Yes,
to be let
yes.
go because to become again the page, because it's a page to knight, not to the king. There's something let go, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't be very mature. I could see the page, yeah.
As a teenage girl, what would you want out of a boyfriend? Do you want an emotional boyfriend that's emotional about everything, or you want some one's guy that just action all the time and fast moving, or do you want?
I think that depends on what the teenager represents, right? If they are coins
Yeah.
or girls or any.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the girl. If she's a queen of swords, she's not going to put up with him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She might be a little bit too empathetic where she's thinking, oh my God,
You
you
might be a
know,
bit too soft for her, right?
Strangely enough, you might have extreme opposites that attract. For example, the Queen of Wands and the King of Swords.
Mhm.
The
mhm.
really intellectual who doesn't give up
Yeah.
to the Queen of Wands, who is super, gorgeous. Everybody's after her, but he doesn't care because he's reading books, and she is fascinated by that. Oh my God, he didn't notice me. How come? There's something wrong with this guy.
Well,
So
the
that
King
might
of
work.
Cups, the King of Cups, it doesn't matter, I think, what age, he is going to be the one you ask to your dinner party. He is the one that you're going to ask to, if you're going to something, you don't have anybody else, you're going to ask him. He's by guy,
Yeah.
even if he's not the most romantic guy, though he is, but depending, on different scenarios. But you're going to feel very confident knowing that he will be there to support you.
Yeah, he understands.
He
Yeah.
understands.
Yeah, he understands.
I like that because boys don't cry, right? But if I needed a friend to talk to because I was dumped or whatever, my King of Cups is the friend I would go to because I know he would be more understanding. So yeah, I didn't think about it that way. So yeah,
And
nice
he
one.
would
Yeah.
go out with you for a beer as well, right?
He would, yes, he would,
Yeah.
and he would buy the first round and everything. Yeah.
He might even remember his own problems with girls before and
Yes.
cry with you and say,
Yeah.
Well,
And he will remember details.
yeah.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, yeah, okay, that was good.
when no one is looking,
Yeah.
is the King of Cups expression tense, angry, puzzled, sad, or happy?
Neither, I think, unless he doesn't have an impulse to see emotions, right?
Well, if he's emotionally mature, he's a very content person within himself. He's a very happy within himself.
Mhm.
That's kind of a very positive, mature, emotionally mature King of Cups. If he's not, I think he would be very emotional. Like he would have a hard time dealing, especially with high school or even grade school. He would be one of those ones that need a psychiatrist or whatever. The King of Cups would be an empath. So if there's emotions around, an empathic person picks up those emotions. So it makes it very difficult for them to handle situations. And it would take that emotional maturity in order to develop, that kind of understand. If they understand themselves as they mature, then they'll be able to handle those emotions.
But thinking of artists who
Yeah.
put out the emotions that they cannot express into art.
Yeah.
They kind of, yeah.
Would it depend on his mood? Because for me, a cups card, what they're feeling inside manifests into their body, so you can see it. So even
Mhm.
if they know you're not watching them, if the King of Cups is sad, you will look sad. Or
Mhm.
if he's happy that day, then he will look happy. Even it doesn't matter if anybody's looking at him because his feelings inside are showing, manifesting externally.
Mm.
So I don't think it would matter if you were seeing him or not, or if he was trying to hide it.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with Susan too, because it has a lot to do with what's going on the outside. What he
Yeah.
sees and what he
Who's
witnesses.
around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Who's around? What's the attention there?
And you know what? The negative or the ill-dignified or the reversed King of Cups, he likes to wallow on negative emotions. It's the doom scroller, right? Because it's lots of emotion. It's almost like a vice.
Yeah.
He likes to deal with those emotions over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very intense king, I think. Okay. Can we go on? Another one?
No.
Yes.
When the King of Cups argues with someone, does he shout, strike out, get sarcastic, or goes silent?
I could see silent.
Me too.
I could see, very, very quiet, which would like go really within himself and become depressed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the sarcastic would be King of Wands in argument with the King of Cups, right? And King of Cups would be silent.
Okay, question.
Mhm.
If King of Cups is upset, can being upset manifest into anger?
No, not him. I think he would go out for walks. You know how guys go out for walks. He
Yeah.
would go out for walks.
Yeah.
He would go silent, not talk to anybody, just close the door to his room and just stay there. It's a typical, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't
It'd
think
be
I
an
don't think he,
introvert, more
yeah, very,
introvert.
yeah, more on the introvert type.
I think the King of Cups would call, counselor or anybody on the call, have some session with somebody, counseling sessions or something like that. That would happen if that's overloaded, if he's really, really angry and upset.
Mhm.
He could take out anger on his own body. Like, I don't know if boys slash. I don't know if a men
Yeah,
slash. I know girls slash.
cutters.
What do you mean
Yeah.
slash?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, cutters. People who cut themselves for the
Yeah.
high. Oh, you don't know that? Oh, it's serious. Yeah.
Yeah. The emotional problems. So I can see him. He could be abusive with drugs, alcohol, because he doesn't know how to handle situations.
Yeah, drinking. Yeah.
The emotions are taking over, so he needs to
Yeah.
quieten the emotions somehow. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think the King of Cups is the only king who shouldn't be alone, because if he doesn't have any support, then he's maybe using drugs or anything like that. Or the drink, obviously, right?
A good point about him, harming his own body. People that keep everything on the inside, they develop all sorts of things. They develop ulcers. They develop, problems sleeping or whatever. It's the body that keeps it all on itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So some people, when they get upset or if they see an injustice, you want to go and stand up and punch that person in the face because you're angry, because you got upset, because you saw this injustice. But the King of Cups would rather not be violent and just like sit in a little shell and maybe start drinking if he sees too much of it. And is that what you mean? Like sort of that way?
Yeah, I don't see the King of Cups intervening in a fight, for example.
No.
Yeah.
I see him consoling the person after the damage was done.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Taking the person away and saying, "Listen, leave these, losers over there. Let's do something more interesting. Okay, let's go somewhere else." He can
Yeah.
take action, but he's not a physical person. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. When it comes to being physical, Cups are not very good. I don't think so.
I think he would try to break it up, a fight, and talk. Like, stop us. I think he would intervene by himself, maybe physically, but not fighting, intervening and saying, stop. Let's just end this right. I could see that happening.
Yes, but you know what? If in the fight are all the other kings, I think that would be very difficult for him.
But I think if he's emotionally mature, I think he, like if you look at Gandhi or people like him, they didn't raise their arms. Like, there's many people out there that, to me, are king, that represent the King of Cups, who did not raise their fists up.
True.
They promoted peace.
Yeah.
They really promoted peace, and that's how they led, and that's how they were respected. So, I could see him just, intervening that way and saying, let's just stop this.
Yes.
Even a police officer, I could see a King of Cups, like he would try to end a situation, intervene, and prevent violence. That would be the first thing that they would do. But if they're a police officer and that's how they're trained, then they would resort to what they have to, like use their gun or whatever.
Then I have a question. Can you see King of Cup as a protester somebody who would go to the crowds and protest against the government or any rules or something like that?
Yeah, Gandhi did. Gandhi did. He had peaceful marches. He a lot of those, and so did other ones. I'm trying to remember. Like he's on his name is on the tip of my tongue, but you think he was at Black. Yes, Martin King. Hey, King. Um, Martin Luther King.
Well, you know what? These people with ideas, because they have an idea, right? Or an ideal plus
Yeah.
an idea. I
Yeah.
see them more as King of Swords because they have a vision in their lives, and they're so set on that they can, through the use of their words, which is also swords, guide people. Take people places. I mean, Martin, the speech of Martin is a famous one. So that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
He's guiding people through ideals. If he were too emotional, I don't know. I don't know. For example, let me tell you something that I watched the other day. It was this show on cops in difficult situations, and they found this house where a baby had been abandoned. The mother left or got drunk or never came back, and the baby was there, screaming. And many policemen entered the house, just broke down the door, entered the house, and one of the policemen got the baby in his arms and started rocking the baby. That's a King of Cups.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was calling the others and saying, "Please send other people here because we need help. Send paramedics or whatever because the baby might be having problem choking or what." That's the King of Swords. He's taking action, but he's speaking. He is being reasonable. But the King of Cups policeman, he was more affectionate. He knew that the most important thing at that point was to get the baby and to calm the baby and to see if the baby
Connect
was breathing.
emotionally.
Yes,
Connect emotionally.
they connect emotionally. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's worse or better than the others. We each have our own function where we are and how we can help. But that's the way he helped.
Yes.
So, all right. Last but not least, is the King of Cups most often honest, an habitual liar, deceptive, or half-truthful?
Half-truthful.
And honest. But I do agree with you, Greg.
Because I'll explain why I say a half-truth. It's like
white lies, right?
White lies.
it's
White
the same
lies.
as with the Queen, but it would be less lies. It would be more omissions than it is lies. It would be more not telling you rather than a quick lie. Like they would rather omit it than sort of lie. They're a little bit different like that. It's more. I'm not saying that lying's a bad thing. I'm just saying, as a tactful thing, me thinking, I would rather omit things because lying is a little bit harder to explain and my memory's not so good. So I'd rather just omit it. Because if I tell them the truth, it's going to hurt them. So that's my reason for omitting. I'm trying to soften the blow. I don't want to upset them because I can understand it's going to hurt. And this is not nice information to have. So let me just give them a little bit of drips and drabs, and I have a little bit today and I'll omit this, and then they can sort of find out about that a little bit later, and like that, more of that's why I would omit things for that reason if I was a King of Cups.
Yeah, for example, I was thinking, I don't know why, about an eulogy. Okay, if the King of Cups was, invited to an eulogy of somebody he didn't really like much, he would tell lies. He wouldn't be capable of going in front and saying that the man was this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Okay. He would improvise. He would bring the best of what he could possibly. Same thing. How do you like such and such? Oh, that's a very pleasant person or whatever, because he prefers not to say anything negative whenever people might say that he's a wuss. He's not a courageous person. I don't think that's the point. I don't think if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
I think the King of Cups could lie if the King of Cups is a psychologist, and
Mhm.
he would be like kind of making sure the client is okay. So maybe that's the case when he wouldn't say the whole truth.
That's a white lie. It's not a lie
lie.
to
Yeah.
his own, profit. Yeah, he doesn't want to do damage. It's
Yeah.
all about damage control. He
And
doesn't
I
want
would
to.
say that the lies could be tactful, because telling the lies is tactful, because you're going, right, I'll say this instead, because then they won't get that so upset. Or so I would say it's still tactful, even though you're lying. It's a white lie because you mean well. I would still call that tact, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
you put thought into it,
Mhm.
how you're going to word it and what you're going to say.
Soften it.
Yeah.
Soften it. Thank you, Susan. But
Yeah.
I see that as tactful. That's tactful. It's better than just saying something. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, how then would be a very negative, reversed, ill-dignified King of Cups? The man is highly empathetic. He knows precisely what people feel, how they feel, and how to manipulate their feelings. That would be a very dangerous man, I
He
think.
would be
I think
nasty, definitely.
he would probably be a psychopath.
Well, he knows how to play on your emotions,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He'd make you cry.
He knows how to evoke everything on people and how to move people.
Then
You
that's
know,
manipulation. He's
Yeah.
a
yes,
manipulator.
emotional manipulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think that's super dangerous. People say,
Yeah.
"Oh, the Queen of Cups, she's all loving." No, if they use that knowledge, that empathetic knowledge to a bad cause, then they're very dangerous, I think, even more than the
Yeah.
King of Swords, I think, because you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
And even if you try to have an argument or something with them, they would say something that would get you so upset that you would either be angry or raging, and then you look the fool. And the manipulative King of Cups in reverse is one,
Yeah, they
because he
know
pressed
what
the right
button to
buttons.
press. Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows exactly
Especially
what
if
button
you've
to
got
press.
emotions, and you'll know that.
Yeah.
So, for example, I would like to think that everybody in this room has feelings. So, if I was a nasty King of Cups, I would find something to say to upset you, and I would be able to find it.
And you would have gauged what each person is more sensitive to. Yeah, yeah.
Because I know
Yeah.
you, right? So I
Yeah.
sort of would like to think I know what would hurt, and that's just
Mhm.
nasty.
Mm.
Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and follow us. And feel free to leave a comment.